Welcome back. You're watching India Newshour. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, President Trump's global tariffs appeared to be on shaky ground after Supreme Court justices on Wednesday casted doubt on legality of President Trump's global tariffs under emergency law. Conservative and liberal justices alike sharply questioned the lawyer representing Trump's administration about Trump's use of emergency powers to impose tariffs on imports from nearly every U.S. trading partner. Now, in a hearing lasting more than 2.5 hours, several conservative justices questioned whether the International Emergency Economic Powers Act that Trump invoked confers the authority to impose tariffs. Solicitor General John Saw, arguing on behalf of the Trump administration, said this did not apply given the president's inherent broad range of authorities. Meanwhile, responding to the Supreme Court hearing on tariffs, U.S. President Trump said it would be devastating if they lost the case.
It would be devastating for our country if we lost that. Devastating. I think it's one of the most important, maybe the most, but one of the most important cases in the history of our country.
And the United States Federal Aviation Safety investigators have located the black box recorders from the wreckage of a UPS cargo plane that crashed at Louisville, Kentucky, killing at least 12 people. Todd Inman, a member of the National Transportation Safety Board, also confirmed that a large plume of fire erupted around the plane's left wing and that one of its 3 engines detached from that wing. Inman, in the first NTSB briefing since the disaster, said the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder appeared to be intact when located. He added, so far there was no evidence of a link between the accident and the government shutdown. Well, the 34-year-old MD-11 freighter was bound for Honolulu with 3 crew members aboard when it crashed just after clearing a fence at the end of the runway during takeoff on Tuesday evening. The international airport in Louisville reopened to air traffic on Wednesday, although the runway where the accident happened is expected to remain closed for another 10 days. And at the latest handover to take place under a U.S. brokered ceasefire, a body of a deceased hostage was transferred into Israel on Wednesday and arrived at the National Forensics Institute for identification. The office in the statement said Israel's Forensics Authority will confirm the identity of the remains, and if proven to belong to a hostage, there would be 6 remaining deceased hostages in Gaza. Under a ceasefire deal that took effect on October 10th, Hamas turned over all 20 living hostages held in Gaza. In exchange, Israel freed hundreds of Palestinian prisoners in its custody. Meanwhile, Israel has accused Hamas of dragging its feet in returning the bodies of deceased hostages, while the Palestinian group says the process is slow because many are buried beneath Gaza's rubble. And Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered his top officials on Wednesday to draft proposals for a possible test of nuclear weapons, something Moscow has not done since the 1991 collapse of the Soviet Union. The order was a further signal that the 2 countries with the world's largest nuclear arsenals are rapidly nearing a step that could sharply escalate geopolitical tensions. Now, Russia-US relations have deteriorated sharply in the past few weeks as Trump has cancelled a planned summit with Putin and imposed sanctions on Russia for the first time since returning to the White House in January. Putin issued his instruction at a meeting of the Security Council, responding to President Donald Trump's announcement last week that the U.S. would resume testing.
I am instructing the Foreign Ministry, the Defense Ministry, the Special Services and relevant civilian agencies to do everything possible to collect additional information on the issue, analyze it at the Security Council, and make agreed proposals on the possible start of work on the preparation of nuclear weapons tests.
Well, the world leaders arrive at Belém Airport for COP30 summit on Thursday. The summit is on effort to show that climate change remains a top global priority, despite broken promises and the United States shunning the gathering. About 50 heads of state and government expected in the rainforest city of Belém for a summit on Thursday and Friday, ahead of the annual UN Conference of Parties climate negotiations that open next week. Almost every nation is participating except Washington. Brazil has acknowledged the uphill battle it faces rallying climate action at a time of conflicts and tariff disputes, tight budgets. Leaders gathered in Belém need to deliver a clear mandate to the COP to be ambitious and to close the gap and to address the issues that are burning. The COP30 presidency said it had secured outside funding to provide 3 free cabins aboard cruise ships for delegations from low-income countries. And Belém, the host city of COP30, offers a unique blend of cultural, ecological and economic significance, particularly due to its strategic location within the Amazon region. Here's a few things to know about COP30 host city Belém. Well, Belém is capital of state of Pará, Brazil. Belém sits in north region of Brazil. Belém is a gateway city to the Brazilian Amazon. Belém is hosting Forest COP climate conference starting on Monday. The city of 1.4 million got its name from Bethlehem in West Asia. A new law by President Lula makes Belém Brazil's symbolic capital during COP30. Now, about 50,000 delegates to gather from November 10th for COP30. In October, Belém hosted a religious ceremony attended by thousands of Catholics. The Cerro de Nazaré is recognized as an intangible cultural heritage by UNESCO. The festivities honored Our Lady of Nazareth, the patron saint of Belém. Patron saint is also nicknamed the Queen of the Amazon by locals. Belém's Cerro de Nazaré festival draws millions each October and is recognized by UNESCO. Now this year, Cerro de Nazaré set a record with 2.6 million attendees. Despite being surrounded by rainforest, only 45.5% of Belém streets have trees. More than half the population of Belém lives in densely populated favelas. The state of Pará is the birthplace of carimbo. Also, carimbo is an Afro-Indigenous music genre also recognized by UNESCO. And Typhoon Kalmaigi killed at least 140 people and left another 127 missing after unleashing devastating flooding across the central Philippines, now moving towards Vietnam. Floodwaters, described as unprecedented, rushed through Cebu province's towns and cities this week, sweeping away cars, riverside shanties, and even massive shipping containers. In Liloan, where 35 bodies have been recovered from flooded areas, cars still piled atop each other by floodwaters and roofs torn off buildings, and residents attempted to dig out of the mud. The national death tally included 6 crew members of a military helicopter that crashed while on a typhoon relief mission. And India-EU free trade agreement discussions have intensified with India's Commerce Secretary Rajesh Agrawal meeting European Commission Director General for Trade Sabine Weyand in New Delhi on Wednesday. The focus was on core areas including trade in goods, trade in services, rules of origin, amongst others, along with technical and institutional matter. Now, both sides reviewed progress and reaffirmed commitment to conclude a balanced and mutually beneficial agreement by the year end 2025. Now, the meeting comes 3 days after Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal held a virtual productive meeting with EU Commissioner for Trade and Economic Security and Commissioner for Agriculture and Food in Minister's October visit to Brussels. Now, these consultations reaffirmed the commitment of both sides to intensify engagement and facilitate a fair and balanced agreement, fostering trade, investment, innovation and sustainable growth. Well, FTA negotiations between India and New Zealand also continue in Auckland, aiming to turn dialogue into tangible trade outcomes. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal is holding discussions during the 4th round of talks to achieve balanced outcomes. On Wednesday, the minister highlighted that New Zealand stands to benefit from access to India's vast and rapidly growing market, while India can leverage New Zealand's technological expertise and niche capabilities to build mutually rewarding cooperation. And as part of the visit, Piyush Goyal today met CEO of Air New Zealand, Nikhil Ravishankar, while en route to Rotorua City. The minister talked about the airline's impressive role in regional connectivity. They also discussed India's expanding aviation sector and the exciting new opportunities that it offers. And after hectic rounds of campaigning, India's eastern state of Bihar is geared up for the first phase of polling in 121 constituencies, which is set to decide the fate of the two-decade-long Nitish Kumar-led NDA government in the state. Now, in the first phase of polling, around 3.75 crore voters will decide the fate of 1,314 candidates across 18 districts. Polling is being held across 121 seats in 243-seat Bihar Assembly. The central themes of the electoral battle this time are both pressing and complex: unemployment, outmigration, corruption, and the decline of education and healthcare dominate the discourse. Thursday's election will decide the fate of several high-profile candidates, including RJD's Tejasvi Yadav, BJP leaders Samrat Chaudhary and Mangal Pandey, and JDU's Shravan Kumar and Vijay Kumar Chaudhary. Tej Pratap Yadav, who has floated his own party, is also in the fray from the Mahua seat. Now, voting for the phase 2 will take place on November 11th, while counting of votes will take place on the 14th of November. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has appealed to all voters of the phase 1 in the Bihar Assembly election to vote with full enthusiasm. In a social media post on the occasion, the Prime Minister extended his special congratulations to all the youngsters of the state who are going to cast their vote for the first time. He urged everyone to remember to vote first and then have refreshments. And moving on, India's maritime capabilities are set to get a powerful upgrade today. The Navy is all geared to induct a new state-of-the-art hydrographic survey vessel, one that will strengthen navigational safety and support missions across our seas. Let's take a look at the arrival of IFFCO, the latest addition to the Navy's survey fleet.
The Indian Navy is set to significantly boost its hydrographic survey strength with the commissioning of IFFCO, the third vessel of the survey vessel class and the first to be based at Southern Naval Command. Chief of Naval Staff, Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi, will formally induct the ship into service at Kochi Naval Base on November 6, 2025. Built by Garden Reach shipbuilders and engineers in Kolkata, IFFCO stands as a powerful symbol of Atmanirbhar Bharat. With more than 80% indigenous content, the ship reflects India's growing shipbuilding capabilities. Named after the Sanskrit word of guide, IFFCO is designed to map both coastal and deep-sea waters with high precision. The survey conducted by the vessel will help ensure safer navigation through ports, harbors, and key maritime routes. Packed with cutting-edge hydrographic and oceanographic technology, IFFCO is equipped with a high-resolution multi-beam echo sounder, autonomous and remotely operated underwater vehicles, and 4 survey motorboats. A helicopter deck further expands its operational flexibility. The commissioning of IFFCO marks a major stride in the Navy's mission to strengthen its survey and charting infrastructure. Ready to chart the unknown, this indigenously built vessel will play a frontline role in safeguarding India's maritime frontiers. Bureau Report, DD India.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Amul and IFFCO, India's leading cooperatives, for securing the first and second ranks globally in the International Cooperative Alliance World Cooperative Monitor 2025. In a social media post, he said, and I quote, "Congratulations to Amul and IFFCO. India's cooperative sector is vibrant and is also transforming several lives. Our government is taking numerous steps to further encourage this sector in the times to come," unquote. Securing global ranking for cooperatives is a global endorsement of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Sehkar Se Samriddhi, or prosperity through cooperation, which has revived the cooperative sector, giving a new impetus to India's economy. And India's Ministry of Culture will organize the inaugural ceremony of the commemoration of 150 years of the national song Vande Mataram on the 7th of November in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the nationwide celebrations for Vande Mataram, written by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee on 7th of November 1875 on the occasion of Akshay Navami. The event will kick off a year-long celebration from 7th of November 2025 to 7th of November 2026. Sanctioned by the Union Cabinet and the National Implementation Committee, the celebrations will begin with a mass singing of the full version of Vande Mataram on the 7th of November, held simultaneously across the country in public places, offices, schools and institutions involving citizens from all walks of life. Well, you're watching DD India Newshour. Time now for some sports news. India will aim to take a lead in the series as they take on Australia in the fourth T20 match in Gold Coast on Thursday. All-rounder Nitish Kumar Reddy, who missed the first three matches due to injury, could make a comeback. The 21-year-old took part in the training on Wednesday. India bowling coach Morne Morkel said the youngster will be assessed after the session to check his progress. India will be without Kuldeep Yadav as he has been sent back home to prepare for the Test series against South Africa. Meanwhile, Travis Head will also left the Australian squad to gear up for the Ashes. The series is currently tied 1-1 after the first game was washed out. And wicketkeeper batter Rishabh Pant has returned to India's squad for the two-test series against South Africa. Pant missed the series against West Indies last month after fracturing his foot during a test match against England in September, with Dhruv Jurel stepping in to keep wickets. Now, he proved his match fitness last week in a game between India A and South Africa A by scoring 90 runs. Fast bowler Akash Deep also returns to the squad after missing the West Indies series. Skipper Shubman Gill and pace spearhead Jasprit Bumrah will join the team after the ongoing 2020 series in Australia. The first test begins on the 14th of November in Kolkata. And spectacular Dev Deepavali celebration were the main attraction at Varanasi city in the northern Indian state of Uttar Pradesh on Wednesday night, merging faith, culture and modern technology. Dev Deepavali is celebrated 15 days after Diwali on Kartik Purnima. The festival marks Lord Shiva's victory over demon Tripurasur. Over 15 lakh diyas were lit across 88 ghats of Varanasi as part of the event, which was kicked off by Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday greeted the nation on Dev Deepavali and shared pictures of the spectacular illuminated ghats on the banks of Ganga in Varanasi. Sharing the spectacular pictures, the Prime Minister said that along the banks of Mother Ganga, billions of lamps lit on the ghats of Kashi, carrying wishes for happiness and prosperity for all. He added that this divinity and grandeur is enchanting to everyone's mind and soul. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Newshour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Newshour.
देश की मिट्टी